To introduce a character, you can show who they are, talk about them, give them nice set of titles to make your consumers get to know them, or you can just...
You know who I am?
You know who he is. If you don't know, you're an uncultured swine, you worthless piece of fungi. Existence of casual racism suggests there is a competitive racism, and he's the king of it. I mean, he's the white dwarf, and I can explain who he is, his lore, but no, we know who he is. And I believe he's the only one who should be your front line, cause today, as our thumbnail says, I will use range units to hunt down elves. However, I must say, I think it will be hard, since I increased the difficulty, because in my last campaign I abused the auto-resolve too much, and I am trying to mostly use missile units, so there will be not much artillery in my armies. And lastly, setting our endgame crisis as Wild Hunt, we can begin. First, we get rid of these and our ruinsmiths. My man faded out of existence. Whatever, let's kill some rats. And this is the first indicator how most of our battles will go. Either we will shoot them to death before they reach us while Grombrindal kills them, or they will reach us, murder most of our ranged units while Grombrindal kills them. Now, we easily defeated some rats with only 3 casualties and take our first settlement, and send our army to take the altar of ultimate darkness. And while we are on our way, we are presented with Grombrindal's unique mechanic. Every 25 turns, we can choose one of these buffs. Only thing I care here is the Grombrindal's Fury. For now, I choose the one that gives us resource rate and upkeep reduction, mostly for the upkeep reduction. And you can assume I am using Grombrindal's Fury for the rest of the video. After taking the altar of ultimate darkness, and someone please explain why this place have a name like that, I started recruiting more quarrelers. And while I was doing that, Malekith showed up. He is the elf Grombrindal hates the most. I'm not gonna explain what happened between them. If I do, this will become a lore video. Just assume Malekith killed Grombrindal dog, then his people, then his other dog, then he's burned down his home. Something like that, you can imagine the rest of it. Of course, I attacked him immediately, but this was one of my worst decisions I made, cause Malekith was trained like AIDS. Guess what are these? Now in this fight the main problem was, even we played only range units, Malekith nearly had same amount of range units. Yes, we managed to kill Malekith's front line and Grombrindal killed Malekith himself, but the rest of my army turned in the Colanders by coming elf arrows, so we lost that fight. Turn is only 7, I nearly lost all of my army, and there is a lot of Skaven and elf who wants to unalive us. I must admit, this is a new low even for me. So I passed the turn expecting to start over, but to my surprise, Elf committed self-unaliving that cost me what's left of my army. In the next turn I just sit there and try to recruit a new army, but Skaven took my settlement, which had my only military building. While I was going there to get my settlement back, another Skaven army appeared close to my capital. So I sent Grombrindal there, and next turn, Skavens are gone, and Malekith is back. Okay, let's talk about Dwarf's grudge mechanic. Let's say your grand-grandfather messed up a trade with Dwarf and gave him 2 pennies less. That Dwarf, instead of saying they messed up his change, will write this in a book, and 200 years later, he and his clan will show up in your house, kick you and every descendant of your village in the nuts, say they settled the grudge, and leave. If a Dwarf do this enough time and with enough efficiency, other dwarves will join them. Fucking, I'm not making videos, I'm making slideshow of its voiceovers on it. Numbers you see on top of every army is a grudge, and if you settle enough, you will be rewarded. And there is also legendary grudges, but we will talk about them later. Maybe never. This video is not about them. Now back to Malekith. This time I just auto-resolved him. There is still rats around, one of them sacked my settlement and ran away, so I will turn my anger towards a quest battle. You know, I don't like quest battles, and they are not that eventful. I just shut them down, take my item and moved on to take my settlements back. After that, Grombrindal murdered some ogres and took their settlements. Right after that, Malekith catch me unprepared for round 3. In this battle I was looking for a quick victory. Malekith was coming from this side of the map and I had an idea. Shooting them in the face. And don't look at me, that's my whole battle plan. So I stationed all my troops to catch them, and it worked just like a charm. Their first units die instantly. Our quarrelers hold their infantry and we killed the rest pretty easily. Grombrindal once again killed Malekith, but there was still a second army coming our way, so I gathered all our forces to open field to face them. We killed Filmo elves and their lord, with that victory was ours. And our score against Malekith became 2-1. We managed to defeat 2 elf armies with low casualties and the forge is unlocked. This is another mechanic for dwarves. We just craft items here, that's it. Whatever, I killed orcs and just 2 turns later, I lost the settlement and my army. It is right here I start to fall into madness. But even after that, Grombrindal will come back next turn because of his skill and his unique item. So I did the only rational thing after losing a war. I ran away. While at our capital we can now recruit grudge reekers, also known as white crime sticks. I filled Grombrindal's new army with them, quarrelers and some iron drakes. So it is time to take this battle to Malekith, and it was just in time for our new complete Age of Reckoning. We got some good buffs and a temporary army. Too bad I can't use most of its units, but with the help of them, I take Halkadra and it was time for a round 4 against Malekith. And the fight was, I should make live commentary while playing these wars. I don't remember shit, so I watched the whole fight and I was just standing here blasting them. And that's it. Nevertheless, we won the fight with a lot of casualties, killed what remains of Malekith's army and take Nagorand. That's it for the good news. Bad news are, a dead man and a literal demon declared war upon us. Also, Malekith tried to take our capital in retaliation against we taking his. And I am skipping this siege battle entirely. I hate siege battles in this game. I'd rather go and play League of Legends. The important thing is we managed to defeat Malekith and recruit a new army to defend our capital. While we deal with that, we lost our settlement to Valkia, and few turns later she sieged the Nagorand. I'm not gonna fight another siege battle, so I sell you out to face her. Quick note here for the ones who do not know Valkia. She is bride of Khorne, god of blood. Factions of Khorne are specialized on melee, and probably think missile units for pussies. They have the best melee combat in this game, but I will want to see the face of Khorne when he learned the names of his bride lose a battle against an army full of missile units in a melee. Don't get me wrong, I still shoot at them, especially Valkyria. Against an army full of short men with guns, a single flying unit is just a big ass target. And looking at my formation, you can say yeah, you just use units on the front to hold them and shoot them with arrows. I did not do such thing. I set my backline in the fight as well. You may say it's a stupid move and you will be right. But it fucking worked. After winning this fight, I was cursing at Khorne.
Is this how you face me, coward?
Then called my friend who don't even play Warhammer and said to him I won against Valky in a melee fight. Then I went to finish what remained of our army and nearly lost. This is what remains of my army. So I rebuilt Grombrindal's army and destroyed another one of Valkyria's armies. But Tomb Kings finally showed themselves and start taking our settlements from the south. In our current state, we are at war with Malekith, Valkyria and Khatep. I don't have any force to spare against Khatep, also they locked my second army in my capital. If he moves out, Khatep will siege it. Luckily, the Dark Elves that I will kill later are dealing with Valkyria, and that gives us a chance to finish Malekith. So I try to take Halgaref and fall back when Malekith arrived. Then I try to lure him into an ambush and failed. Nevertheless, we once again meet in the battlefield. This time Malekith managed to defeat my army, but not Grombrindal. 5 minutes in, battle was already lost, but in remaining 10 minutes, Grombrindal chased Malekith's army and single-handedly take the win from Malekith's end. However, it does not change the fact that we nearly lost all of our forces. Yet I don't care about that. Cause I take what remains, throw them to a second Dark Elf army and finish what remaining of Malekith's army. And that's what you call a victory. However, my 3 brain cells get back on the job, and without replenishing Grombrindal's army, I try to take Halgaref again, and fall back. Again, after I go back to Nagorand to replenish more units. And I learned right here Alariel claimed the Sword of Khaine. And oh boy, it's gonna be fun. Back to business, I once again sieged Halgaref and Malekith once again interrupted me. But this time I will take my chances at the battlefield. Malekith is reinforcing from this side and the garrison is on top of a hill. To that I said I don't wanna fight at this side of the map. I want to fight at that side of the map and proceed to take my whole army and walk there. Now our flanks are secure and at our back is a narrow passage defended by thunderers. Trying to pass there is what we call suicide. Most of the enemy forces didn't properly reach us and we managed to convince them to fall back by shooting them in the face. And this, my friend, was the decisive defeat for Malekith, because what's left for him is simply that. With Malekith gone, I decided to fight Grombrindal's quest battles, and yet again I will skip them. But after finishing the battles I realized something. White Dwarf's unique items sucks ass. Only 10 armor and 10 physical resistance, 10% interception on tunneling, and who needs this shit? His axe is okay, his armor is and only worth his cloak have is 25% magic resistance. We need better items. And for that we open our forge and craft Iron Warden's tankard. Tankard? I don't know how to say that. This is the single best item a man can craft, and our only way to weaponize dwarven alcoholism. Giving this to Grombrindal is just the first piece to make him the ultimate killing machine. For now, Valkyria is back, so we beat her ass once again and send her back. But I didn't stop there. I marched all the way to Draxen, took it, and finally finished Valkyria. Remaining Norskans proposed a peace treaty with free gold. Of course I took it. With she out of the picture, I finally declared war on Harganet. However, Khatep was still throwing rave parties next to my capital, so I gave him Shrine of Khaine to fuck off. In exchange, he gave me some gold and promised not to try to kill me anymore. With this, my whole focus was on the Dark Elves, so I faced them. And my first impression was, that's a lot of heads. They quickly decimated my army and circle beat Grombrindal for 50 minutes. And the only reason he died was Uri's regen cap. Guess even the dwarf and alcoholism have its limits. Also, we lack damage. So once again I opened the forge and crafted Master Rune of Spite. This rune damages all the enemies who are close to Grombrindal. The damage is not that high, but considering it takes 2 to 3 business days to kill Grombrindal even when he is alone, this item will deal a lot of damage. With the rune I tried to solo the army full of Hydras and things didn't go as I planned. So I fell back, rebelled Grombrindal's army and regrouped with my second army to push for the Hallgrav's capital. Sigvald was also there and he was kind enough to clear out the defending forces for us. Thanks to him, we easily took Hallgrad. Finishing off 2 Dark Elves took me 85 turns. Furthermore, Sigvald is distraught by my presence, so he tried to kill us and defeated Grombrindal. Now we are stuck with Curse of Slaanesh. After that... Oh fuck. Where's the recording? Okay, what happened is I didn't want to deal with Sigvald and gave him Hallgred to leave me alone, and regrouped at Negorant to finally declare war against Everqueen. But before that, let's talk about current state of our quest. We killed Malekith and Helbron, Darkblade is killed by Sigvald, Alitanar is dead, I guess. He could be listening Linkin Park while hiding in a corner, I don't know. That's 4 out of 16 so far, and the turn is 93, and I am already depleted. Nevertheless, with just 1 click, we are at now war with all of Ulthuan. For context, Alariel is rank 3 and Tyrion is probably just as buff. And against all of that, we have a crackhead with anger issues. I do say odds are on our side. Whatever, we start with taking Blacklight Towers and Monoliths. There was only 1 army present at our south, or so I thought. Next turn, 1 showed up in the sea up north, another 1 at our west, and they cashed Grombrindal at Monoliths. But the outcome of this battle was already decided. As Sun Tzu said, if you shoot your enemy in the face, you need not to fear the result of 100 battles. Right after our assured victory, Sigvald gave us a surprise present. In a game that war written on its title twice, of course, it is more war. But right now we can't deal with Sigvald, so I initiate diplomacy to make peace.
Bear in mind, dwarf, I have seen your mother, and even Nurgle could not manifest such a hideous visage.
We still can't deal with him, so that goes into the book. To make myself forget what happened, I forge Master Rune of Gromnir, give it to our white boy and send my armies to the west to take the Everqueen's footholds and chase an army trying to escape by sea. While we do that, Altarion decided to visit us and we proceed to shorten his lifespan. However, it seems Altarion was just the vanguard, cause Alariel showed herself just out our shores. So I sent my 2 armies to deal with elves coming from south and sent Grombrindal to fight against Everqueen. And the fight was easier than I thought it would be. Remember, single flying unit is just the biggest target. Yeah, their spells disrupt my front lines, but Grombrindal managed to kill Alariel without taking damage, and rest of our army come down with her. Now we have an option to claim Sword of Khaine. It gives its user immense power in exchange of everyone hating you. Only a lunatic will go out of his way to use this thing. But if history taught me anything, great nations achieve great things through genocide. Okay, maybe that's not true, but I will try it nevertheless. For that, I need this sword. With that, Grombrindal now have 204 armor, 124 melee attack, 89 melee defense, 1.1k weapon strength, regeneration. We also have 46% war save and 20% resistance to all types of damage. You will see what all of this means soon enough. Now, taking Alariel's last settlement in Negorant, we are ready to invade Ulthuan. We first take Tor Dreniel, then Unicorn Gate and Grombrindal's siege in Sharn of Khaine, and the army defending the shrine decided to attack us. And they managed to kill everyone in the army except Grombrindal. So he proceeded to kill 1042 elves single-handedly and won the battle. Right here I had a Jimmy Neutron moment, and I realized one thing: Grombrindal is not a lord who leads armies. He is the army. He is a machine which turns alive things to dead things, and uses racism as a fuel. Next turn, after taking the Shrine of Khaine, I turn my attention to my 2 other armies, and the only thing I can say is there is a lot of elves. So I did the only rational thing and attacked the side with less amount of elves, and it happened to be Alariel's side. We killed her and keep pushing for Grand Vale and took it 2 turns later. As for Grombrindal, he and Altarion meet at the battlefield. They killed all of my army and Grombrindal killed all of theirs. At this point, I was convinced Grombrindal do not need an army. To prove that, I sent him to take Toranlok single-handedly. He took it. After that, I zoom out to look current state of the war. Wait, why there's a lot of elves here. Altar is bomb, by the way, but why? Why there's too many elves, man? This is too many. As you can see, I'm losing my fucking mind. I guess I lose my mind when I try to cosplay as a fucking horseman. Furthermore, the problem is the island is so magical, forget about living inside, we can't even replenish our units. That means even we have more than 2 armies, we will lose the war of attrition. So only way to make them weaker is they're taking their settlements, but we don't have an army capable of doing that. However,
You know who I am.
so I put Grombrindal in the middle of every coming elf army to take their attention from Toralnek, the only settlement we can use on Ulthuan. With that, I pass the turn. First elf army, defeated. Alariel plus the first army, yet again, defeated. Third army, dead. A 4th army, dead. My 2 other armies also defeated 3 elves armies next turn. A 5th elf army, dead. Another one, dead. Another one, That again. This campaign, in an unexpected turn, changed from on using range units to on using Grombrindal, but we can't stay here and let them attack us. So, our target is Lothern and every major elven city, and let him kill everybody. But I'm gonna be honest, the game became pretty boring after this. There is not much to talk about. Grombrindal single-handedly killed everyone on Ulthuan and my other armies ate dirt. The only ounce of joy I get from this is the fight I made with Tyrion, and it goes something like this. Furthermore, my computer is a half-eaten potato that I put wires into it, so every loading screen takes more time than the actual fight. There is 19 hours of gameplay footage and 9 hours I edited in this video. Race Starjust Grombrindal's fight with 60% loading screens. With that, I say we hunted enough elves. So I'm gonna play something more fun or gonna study for my exam.
I promised Grimnir there'd be a mighty tally, and I ain't one for breaking such an oath. So come on, let's have 'em!